ball and they try to really close out hard. It seemed like you did get some threes to go later, but is there any difference in how they're playing you and the places that you can attack?
Yeah, I think, I mean, you guys see the lineups, they got a couple small guys, I think we have a size, we're bigger than them, so we got to use our size more, I know they're good at, shrink the defense, but I think Braun got a couple, touches in the post, but I think I can be, I can involved in that more, and Marcus can, post up more, DA using his size, I think those kind of stuff we can use them more.
Rui, we know you're missing Luka, and that's obviously a big part of the offense, but just what are you kind of seeing on that side of the ball and kind of, obviously you can't replace what Luka does, but what can you kind of do to kind of that side of the ball at least?
He gets all the attention, on the offense, when he has the ball, he probably, I think if he was playing like, they probably double team him or something, It's a different game, but it is what it is, Luka hasn't played in like a month, we decided we're just gonna, we're gonna be enough, what we have, of course we miss Luka, but I think those kind of stuff, and the playmaking, of course, especially the team against like these guys, against, they pressuring the ball, all that, so, Luka, Luka with his size and his ball, ball handle, and everything, he gonna be he could have been, good playmaker for sure.
Rui, when it comes to like how you cut the lead to 4 with your 3 in the third, and it was pretty close there up until the end of that latter half of the fourth quarter. How important is like those mental errors, those small mistakes that OKC really does take advantage of, and limiting those as much as possible?
Yeah, those are big, especially playing against the defense championship. They won for a reason last year. Those little mistakes gonna hurt us. We understand it. We talk about after the game. Those little stuff really, hurt us. They're ready to pay you back. So we have to, whatever we watch film, we talk through. We have to. This is the first game, of course. It's we have more games, but I think we have to, more communicate better on those mistakes. We never. Actually, especially in like, after coming out the timeouts, those are going to be important positions for us. So we gotta lock in.
Rui, focusing back on the offense, just how much of a challenge does this Thunder team make it, I guess, more challenging to problem solve in terms of the offensive stuff that you were referring to earlier in real time, and not taking maybe like 2 or 3 minutes to figure out, and next thing you know, it's been however long since you guys last scored. Like, how much difficult does this Thunder team make that?
On offense, you said?
Yeah, on offense, for you guys to make those offense adjustments quicker rather than more prolonged period.
Yeah, they have a lot of guys that can guard the ball, I think we watch their films and know how, we can shoot a lot of threes, on this team. I think they give up a lot of threes, in the regular season. They're like one of the, the worst team or something. So we talk about that. I think we did. I think we need to shoot more threes for sure, especially against them. I think within the second half we did a better job on that, but I think we could have done it from first half.
八村選手ご自身は後半積極的に
All right, so Rui and the Lakers trying to rebound in game number 2 after losing game 1, 108-90. Chet Holmgren, 24 points, 12 rebounds, and as Q Rich told us, he was the difference in this game.
Mr. Holmgren. All right. What did, having actually played in the game, were there some things that you saw and kind of learned from that you take into game 2?
Yeah, we had a game plan, and a few times, we didn't do exactly what we were supposed to do within the game plan, and we got a little outside ourselves of the game plan, and they made us pay for it.
JJ mentioned last round, I think the most game plan mistakes was probably game 5 at home. Obviously, you guys responded with a pretty good game 6. What's your level of confidence in the way that this team can come out of this and find solutions to what the problems were?
Very high. We started off great. We were doing very well. We were in the game. We held them to 101, 105-ish before late in the end. We plan to defend the champs. It's going to be tough. They're going to make some tough shots, some tough plays, and we just can't let that derail us, right? We got to stay with it. But I'm very positive in the way that the game plan is, teammates, we're getting, Austin back in his groove and just getting guys back, right? So I'm definitely confident, but it's definitely going to be a challenge.
You guys, it's obvious you're missing 30-plus points a game from Luka. The scoring's got to come from somewhere, and at times in the first round, it was you and Luke. Obviously, also we know what he can do. Does that feel like the challenge right now for this group to figure out how to consistently score? Because defensively, it seems like that's been consistent in the playoffs.
I wouldn't say that's the main concern, because we can score the ball. We're going to score the ball, right? Just got to do it. Rui missed some shots that he usually makes. I missed some shots I usually make. Bron, AR. I didn't play the best game. I know. Defensively it was okay, but offensively 4 for 15, 2 for 8. Right? That's unacceptable. I only had 2 turnovers, which is good, but I got to be better. And it starts with me. I take full accountability for it. I know I'm not the reason we lost, but I feel like, I could have gave more, and I got to be better. But we're going to make shots. It's just a matter of time, and we just got to continue to make sure we shoot them.
Marcus over here. You did a great job defensively on SGA tonight, especially calling for the blitz, and he forced him into some turnovers. I think he had some of the most turnovers, and you held him under 20. Is that sustainable for the rest of the series, or do you guys have to give him some other look to mix it up?
We're definitely going to give him some different looks. He's the MVP, defending champ, right? He's seen it all, right? And that's what makes him great, his ability to play through things that, other players probably couldn't, and, make those tough buckets, right? You can't really give him a steady diet of one thing, so we're definitely going to throw some things at him. But we just got to stay with the game plan, whatever that is for that game, and not worry about, them making shots, because it's going to happen, and just stick with it.
Marcus, Austin's still obviously working back from his injury, missing a long time. Just as a teammate, how do you kind of help him, if at all, like to kind of ramp up a little bit and get a little more comfortable and get back into his rhythm?
Just try to get him some easy shots, right? Do a really good job of putting him in spots to not only create for himself, but create for others as well. And just, talking to him. We understand that he's coming back. It's only his second game back with us, or third, sorry. But, we understand that. And we understand, it's going to take some time, but we're here. And that's why you got 4 of the guys out there with him to help pick him up, and we got to do a better job.
Before the game, JJ said that you guys, this was his phrase, that you guys
Well,
sucked.
SGA goes for 18. The Thunder just continue to roll through the postseason, holding Los Angeles to just 41%